So, you want to join the wonderful world of beekeeping? Well, today I'm going to give you a brief introduction on how exactly to get started. I'll go over things like where you're going to get your bees from, right? Also, what kind of tools you're going to need, as well as the 3 types of bees in each hive. So, why beekeeping? How is beekeeping going to help me on my homestead? How is it going to help me on my self-sufficiency? How exactly will it help me on my prepping journey? Well, if these are your questions, the answer to each question is beekeeping will absolutely help. First and foremost, you have the pollinators right in your backyard. And what does every homestead need? We need pollinators. You have a homestead consists of animals, plants, vegetables, fruits. Well, in order for those fruits and plants and vegetables to grow, you're gonna need some type of pollinator. Unless you're going out there to pollinate yourself, you need those bees. Now, not only do they do that, they also give you an increase of yield because they're pollinating. They also give you some type of medicinal purposes because bees have honey. That's the thing that we always crave. We associate bees with honey. Well, bees have honey, which gives you medicinal purposes. It also is a natural sweetener, as well as the tincture that the bees make with the propolis that they use to stick everything together in their hive. That can be used in combination with some alcohol in order to make a tincture to rub on some type of bruises, cuts, things of that nature. You want to be in the video? Thinks she wants to be in the video. So what are the 3 types of bees in each hive? Well, I'll show you. In the middle, you have the queen bee. The queen bee's responsibility is to take care of the hive. She's the only female in the hive that actually lays eggs. Now, to the left, you have the worker bee. And if you guessed it, that's why it's named worker, because it does all the work. Now, the worker bee is also a female. However, they're all sterile. And they literally do all the tasks in the hive. That which include like collecting the nectar, the pollen, building and maintaining the hive, and taking care of the larvae, which are soon to be bees. Now, the drone, which is all the way to the right, sometimes is mistaken as a queen bee because of their large size. However, the drone bee's sole purpose is to mate with a queen bee. Now, notice that I said with a queen bee. I didn't say the queen bee. Now, the drones, they fly out some around maybe 1/3 of a mile or 1/4 mile or so in diameter and they're looking for a queen bee to mate with. So now the queen bees mate with drone bees. However, the queen bee flies out further, maybe about 1/2 mile or so, or maybe just a little bit more. And the reason why they do that is so that they don't mate with the same drones in their colony. What kind of tools are you going to need in order to service your hive? Well, you're going to need a hive tool. This here is called a J hook hive tool. As you can see, looks kind of like a J. Then you have the L shaped hive tool. They're pretty much identical other than the J and the L, right? Now, obviously, you can see that this one is a lot more used than this one. You'll always have your preference, but nevertheless, you just need at least one of them. And this is gonna help you to break open the hive. Sometimes that propolis that I spoke about is stuck and it's literally like a glue. So you'll have to pry the hive open, or you'll have to hook the frames in order to pull the frames out to check the status of your hive and of your colony. So this is a major tool that you're definitely gonna need. What you're gonna need is a smoker, a beehive smoker. So now, what is a beehive smoker? You pop it open, you throw some debris in there, maybe some dry leaves or some hay or straw, anything dry, right? Some twigs and sticks. And you light it on fire, and then when you close it, it starts to produce smoke. What does that smoke do? That smoke keeps the bees calm. Now, the bees are already calm, so it keeps them calm while you're actually servicing the hive. Now, just imagine if you didn't have the smoker and you pop open a beehive, they get a little agitated. It's almost as if I came to your house and I kicked in the door. you're gonna be a little bit agitated too, right? I should have rang that doorbell. Well, this is that doorbell, right? To keep things calm. The bees are very calm, right? So why do you need a smoker? Well, when a bee stings you, it puts off a pheromone. That pheromone is smelled by all the other bees. And so they know exactly where to attack. So you ever notice when you see in a movie, if somebody messes with a beehive and all of a sudden they're running and running and running and there's a swarm of bees around them? Well, every one of those bees didn't probably see him. It was probably one bee or two bees that stung him, and then the pheromone alerted everyone else. Well, that's where the smoker comes in. When you have smoke, they can't smell the pheromone of one bee that's irate or one bee that's stung somebody or vice versa. So you're keeping the colony calm while you service and check the status of it. And the final thing that you'll actually need to start beekeeping is a bee suit. So you'll definitely need some type of bee suit or even a veil and maybe a thick jacket, some gloves, right? Most suits that you purchase, they'll have gloves, there'll be a full body suit with zippers and pads and all those type of things. I'll actually go over a video here shortly to show you which suits to get, which suits to stay away from, which suits are better in warmer climates, hot climates, so on and so forth. But nevertheless, you're going to need a bee suit. Now, unless you like to get stung, definitely this is one essential item. So where can I get my bees? I'm ready, I have all the tools. I have a hive, I have the smoker, I have the hive tool, I have my bee suit. Now I need a package of bees or a nook of bees. Well, where can I get them? Well, easy. Go on to Google. Google will tell you exactly where your local bee clubs are, or your local apiaries are. Also, a good tool is Facebook Marketplace. That's actually where I started at. You get on Facebook Marketplace, look up NUCS, which is nooks, which is a small beehive to start off with, anywhere between 3 to 5 frames. And that'll be your package right there. That'll be your bees. It'll come with a queen. Sometimes they're marked, sometimes they're not, but I'm gonna show you here later in the future how to find a queen, how to identify the queen, how to mark the queen. So don't worry about that. Just get out, order them, get on Facebook, get on Google, go to your nearest bee clubs, find you a package of bees. So now you're beekeeping. Now you're on your way. You know what to do, you know where to get your bees, you know what kind of tools to use. So if you like this content, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button down at the bottom. Stay tuned for the next video where I show you what to use in order to feed your bees and how to construct an inner cover to where you can feed your bees without worrying about getting stung.